Welcome to KQEG and Seven River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Harris, and this week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. Well, this week, UWL National program, all kinds of accolades with women's track and field. Tori Washa, Kemmesha Thomas, Sarah Gilles. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's first take a look back to a couple of years ago, an award-winning show that we taped, and the show was called Broken Crayons, Still Color. And it was you, Tori, and it was Kemmesha, and we talked about how you continue to paint a masterpiece despite a setback. And understanding that everyone has a purpose. You have had a couple of chinks in the armor, but you are an absolute role model, and you exemplify the sentiment that broken crayons still color. And we revealed it on the show, and I had so many people that complimented me, complimented us on the interview. Tori, you started when you were 9 years old.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I've been just kind of rolling with it ever since.
Yeah, and you've had challenges, and a lot of people have similar challenges and have not colored a masterpiece, but yet you have demonstrated with that kind of a setback how you can achieve success. Is that just because of the spirit of a champion, toughness? What is it?
I'd say both of that, and just having support from my family, friends, and my teammates and my coaches to just kind of put that extra little belief in myself.
Was there ever a point though when you thought, I don't know if I can do this?
Not really, actually. No.
Never.
No.
And that's unusual, and it's impressive as all heck. Kemmesha, too, a part of the show Broken Crayons Still Color, and you have a purpose in life, and you've demonstrated that. You had a setback when you were born, but yet you have overcome that, and I talk about you to students a lot when I give speeches, when I'm teaching, talk about what a remarkable young person you are. Talk about your chink in the armor.
Well, since I was born with it, without part of my arm, I just had to learn how to do stuff. So from the beginning, I never really saw it as a hindrance. So I just was surrounded by good people to help me along and tell me I could do anything.
Well, and you just personify the fact that you in your lifestyle encourage others to keep coloring, even though they may have setbacks. And so I wanted to just start the show by reflecting back to that particular show when we talked about your overcoming of setbacks, and it just continues to be a remarkable thing, and I'm so proud of both of you. And I'm proud of Sarah, because she has made a success coming from a little place called Plum City.
Yep.
Talk about growing up in that community.
Oh, there's not much there. We don't have a track, so coming to UWL to compete at the track here was a big jump for me. But yeah, so I don't know, small town, couple streets, one stop sign.
Multiple sport athlete, homecoming queen, prom queen.
No.
Everything else. I'm sure you did it all though in high school. Reflect back on your high school years.
I mean, I did 3 sports all 4 years, volleyball, basketball, and then track in the spring. So it was just really busy, but in our small town, you kind of had to do all of them, just because otherwise you wouldn't have had a team, because we only had 5 girls, so all 5 had to play basketball. But
so when did you kind of come to perhaps a realization that you could become a college athlete?
Not until last year. I'm just kidding. I actually wasn't recruited or anything, and was pretty set on leaving high school sports in high school, or just sports in high school. But then, first weekend in college, all the freshmen go on the football field to take a picture, and I don't know, I walked across the track, and I'd gone there all 4 years for state in high school, so I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot, and I emailed the coach at the time, and she said, come try out.
Remarkable story. So you didn't, in high school, you didn't think you had the ability to be on a national program such as UWL?
Yeah, I didn't even know how good lacrosse's track program was, like, before I started.
Did you know where lacrosse was?
Barely. Didn't get out of that small town.
So now when you go back to that small town, I'm sure you've signed autographs, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, all the time. No, my parents are really proud, though. But, yeah.
They ought to be. So, and by the way, as we tape this show here on May 16th, you have just graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it now, the next chapter of your life ahead of you? We're going to talk about that, but graduation and doing well in school, was that, did you think you were going to be able to graduate and be so successful academically?
Well, I don't know, I was very focused on school in high school, so I knew that would carry over into college too, so that was never really of concern to me.
So it was always student first and athlete second. Mm-hmm. And for Tori too, the last time you were on the show, we talked about your certainly being involved as a student first and an athlete second, and that's kind of the inspiration your parents sort of gave you.
Yeah, no, definitely. All throughout high school and college too, they're like, it's awesome that you're still doing track, but you gotta make sure like you're putting your school first.
Yeah, and Kemmesha too, who we know very, very well, not only because of being on the show, but just a close friend of the family. You had your own form of success as a student.
I did. got paid a little bit for doing well in school and putting forth like efforts to make changes around campus and whatnot.
And now you just finished your sophomore year.
I did.
And so let's reflect on your first 2 years academically first. Was it a huge transition?
For me, it was. Definitely did not know how to study freshman year. So learning how to study was a key thing to do. And then sophomore year came around and I knew what to do. I had the correct friends to study with, because you have the friends, it's like, yeah, let's study together, but you get nothing done. So I knew which ones not to study with. So I figured it out.
And then you have distractions like somebody calling you on your cell phone while you're in the library, like I've done a couple of times, and that's not good for your rhythm, your study rhythms either, is it?
Nope. That's why I put my phone on vibrate and I hide it in my backpack somewhere.
And Tori, Washa just finished your junior year.
Yeah.
Been a tough 3 years.
Yeah. Feels good to have 3 years under my belt. Still have a year and a half left, but see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I see that. Well, Sarah, graduating with highest honors. Wow, impressive as all heck. And being on the dean's list every semester. Leader, I mean, you've certainly done it all and surpassed maybe what you even thought. But you've certainly exemplified what a Division III athlete's all about too.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been a really remarkable path, like 4 years. Nothing that I ever could have imagined.
You know, I talked to Katie Wagner, the assistant coach, who's a friend of mine, and she said this about you, Sarah. She said you epitomize what a D3 athlete's all about. Family, academics, leadership, in all aspects of your life. The team, the coaches will miss your character, and they're inspired by what you have done and the legacy that you have left. And Katie is an excellent person herself, but she has nothing but high praise for you. Now, those are lofty statements. I mean, that's something you should be very proud of. And what's your thought on that?
It just, I don't know. I've had such a great relationship with Coach Wagner over my 4 years. Like, she believed in me from the very first day that I emailed her to ask if I could try out. So that was it just means a lot coming from her. Yeah.
And Kemmesha, Katie Wagner says this about you, that your goals, achieving your goals, have brought you to the podium in both conference meets. She thinks you could be at the national level, and you're an incredible leader, wonderful teammate, and a big part of the culture of UWL. So again, high praise for you, Kemmesha.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like having her as a coach really helped me because I didn't know what to do, and I always go to her for like all the questions of everything, and I don't know, it's just, she's my go-to person.
She also talks highly about you, Tori, mentioning to me that your season didn't go as well as you had hoped. You took some time away. I knew a lot of that, but she has confidence that your motivation, your goals, your attitude in your season, in your senior season next year, will take you to unprecedented heights, and your passion for track and field is certainly something that is one of your strengths.
No, yeah, I think that's very true. She always is reminding me, she's like, you just got to remember these moments and push yourself for going into the next season.
Good. Well, we're going to step aside just for a minute. We come back more as we focus today on UWL women's track and field. We'll be right back.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports again today. UWL women's track and field with Tori Washa, Kemmesha Thomas, and Sarah Gilles. Well, in case you didn't follow UWL women's track and field, in the indoor WIAC meet, 6th. In the outdoor, 6th straight, I should say. In the outdoor, 7th straight, 33rd championship in school history. And, of course, the finals, the national tournament, the national meet here, May 24th through the 26th. And many of us, including me, will be at that meet. Well, Sarah, again, from Plum City, you 5th in the heptathlon in the outdoor and 4th in the indoor. So as you finished your senior year, satisfied?
Yeah, very satisfied. Again, since I wasn't recruited, it took me a long time to realize that I was good enough to be on this team. And not that I needed to place, but it was just kind of icing on the cake to end my last season of competing, to finally make podium and score some points for the team.
A sense of real satisfaction, a culmination, emotional, that you were able to accomplish that when you perhaps never thought you would. Explain for our viewers what the pentathlon and the heptathlon is.
So pentathlon is what we do indoor, and it's 5 different events. You do them back to back to back to back to back. Finish one, and then you take a half-an-hour break until the next one starts. And then heptathlon, just add 2 more events for outdoor, but it's broken up over 2 days.
So it's one of the most difficult in terms of events.
It's pretty tiring on the body.
And Kemmesha, too, 4th in a heptathlon, you've achieved a lot. Were you satisfied with that?
I was. I liked it. It was a good day for me. A lot of stuff changed for me this year, so being able to still podium with doing different things, which obviously worked, so it was really good.
And what's the hardest part of that for you, that event?
Probably, I want to say the mental games of some of the events, I would say. Sometimes hurdles, you just got to get through that first one. It's okay, it's all good. Then high jump for me plays a lot of mental games. That bar gets to me sometimes, but otherwise it's just, I don't know, mentally.
But you've always been strong in that regard. I mean, you've been tough. You've been, like Jay Billis talks about, mental toughness, the way you've had to grow up being mentally tough. All kinds of awards at Logan through the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, you've achieved a great deal. Resiliency probably describes who you are, too.
I mean, it helped that being born without part of my arm taught me to be resilient. So, I don't know, it helped me throughout sports and in life and school.
A silver lining, perhaps, is what you're saying. Tori Washa, too, you finished just junior year. We talked about that outdoor 4x4 meter relay. And now, as we tape the show again here on the 16th of May, tomorrow, the final qualifier, and you're a part of that at UWL.
Yeah, I'll be running the 4x4 again tomorrow, just looking to get a team PR. Our goal is to break, we want to run a 3:56 tomorrow.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you would qualify for the Nationals.
if we run, like, the times are really competitive this year, so we'd have to run a really fast time. So we're just kind of doing it for ourselves to get a last, like, final mark.
Good. Speaking of the Nationals, talk about UWL's chances in the women's division.
I think that we're pretty deep right now. We have a lot of people qualified going into the meet, and it's obviously a huge home advantage being on our home track itself.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know numbers specifically, but I feel like this year we have a pretty young team and a lot of like young potential for future years, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it'll be exciting for all of us. Kemmesha, too, we talked about your involvement in the Black Student Unity Events Coordinator, Community Liaison. You're very involved in the university, and talk about that and your major and your career.
So, events coordinator for Black Student Unity. It helps me, well, the club itself like helps me find who I am and then connect with other people, because like it's not just Black students that go to Black Student Unity. It's also like Latinos and Latinas and just like a whole bunch of different cultures. So seeing perspectives from everyone. And then my major is public health and community health education, pre-physical therapy, Spanish minor. And with that, I plan on getting my dream job with hopefully working with athletes in the future and helping their dynamic and static, what's it called?
Well, your first goal, though, is to find a rich husband, isn't it?
No, that's if everything doesn't plan out. I'm going to marry rich.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, you've been on some excursions, and you're going this summer on sort of a mission trip.
Yeah, I got an internship for public health, so I get to go up north to Crandon, Wisconsin, and work with the Native Americans there and talk about nutrition and exercise and women's health and mental issues. And
is that something that the Native American population has not really embraced?
I don't think it's not that they embraced it, but since they have their own tribal rituals, it's probably hard to, like, I'm not sure for sure because I haven't had the chance to speak with them about it yet. But I just think just incorporating like today's standards with their rituals also is like what might be.
And I'm sure you'll be a role model there. Sarah Gilles, of course, just graduating again. We talked about that communications major. Where is that going to take you?
New team director at the Erickson Boys and Girls Club. So that's where it took me.
I'm familiar with that.
Yep. So that's what I'm doing.
Working with those children that need role models like you.
Yeah.
What kind of drove you to that position?
I've been working there for 2 years. Some friends mentioned it to me. They work there, some former teammates. And yeah, so I started there in 2016 and looks like I'm staying.
Well, it's a blessing for the club. There's no question about it. And you'll share some of your experiences and you'll share your philosophy of life, which is kind of unique. What is that?
Well, I think it just plays into a big role of why we're at club, but I just think, I don't know, there's so many people in this world that have it worse off, so I think it just, if I have that opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life and to like help it for the better, that's what I want to do, and I think that's what everyone's supposed to do.
Who made a difference in your life?
Oh, I don't know. I was really lucky, though. Like, I was very fortunate growing up. My parents are amazing, and so I think just my family, I guess. But I was very blessed, and I think just realizing how blessed I was, that's kind of pushed me to make a difference for other people.
And you've read some things, and you sort of follow Mother Teresa, don't you?
I do like that quote, yeah, the one that I wrote down. But, yeah, I don't know, that one just, it just basically says, like, instead of praying or hoping for something to change, to, like, pray and do something about it instead. So instead of just, like, hoping that, you know, somebody's life is going to turn around, to put yourself in their life and help them in some way that you can. So I don't know, just, yeah.
Have you always been a deep person?
I don't know. I think I've grown up a lot these past 4 years. UW Crosse has done wonders for me.
So you're sort of the face of what change can do for the positive, aren't you?
Yeah, trying to be.
And Kemmesha, too, we talked about your goals and so on, and I'm confident you'll achieve them. Leadership is what you sort of exemplify, and what's important about being a leader, and how do you do that at UWL?
I think what's important about being a leader is making sure that every voice is heard, and I do that by trying to get everyone's opinions on things before we move forward on like issues or like for instance they were passing a law in student senate so Alana could get a seat, so like everyone's voice had to be heard, so in order for that to happen you had to make sure people understood what the issue was, so just making sure everyone understands.
And Tori, you're as deep as Kemmesha and Sarah, and I know you have a saying that I've heard said before. It comes from a poem, and it's from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, not all those who wander are lost. I don't know, it's just kind of, for me, it took a long time to figure out what I wanted to do with school, or even like if I wanted to go to school. And I always felt like I was behind everybody else and like late to the game. But I'd like to think just like through experiences, I kind of found like what I wanted to do and like who like my friends are and what kind of life I want.
What would be a philosophy of life that would really sort of identify who you are?
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
And knowing you like I do, being friends of your family, you do that. And when others don't, how do you handle that?
I guess I just kind of I just kind of look back and like see how it affects other people, and I look at it as a lesson for myself and how I don't want to make others feel down about themselves or anything like that.
Well, all three of you are certainly remarkable young women that have accomplished a lot in early chapters of your life. Tori Washa, Kemmesha Thomas, Sarah Gilles, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I wouldn't doubt if this is another award-winning show like it was when you were on before.
Yeah.
So we hope that you have a great summer. Congratulations on your job at the club.
Thank you.
You'll be traveling to northern Wisconsin. Tori will be hanging around here in her boat, coming over to my house, checking out the Erickson place, and at the Freight House when we come down there and see you.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be there. Yeah.
So it's been a pleasure. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. I hope you enjoyed our interview with three great student athletes just finishing their season at UWL. Tori Washa, Kemmesha Thomas, Sarah Gilles. Well, Rick and I were in Middleton on Tuesday to follow our Holmen Vikings in the baseball postseason. The opponent, the Waunakee Warriors from the Badger North Conference. The MVC champs started with a run in the first inning as Kevin Cable plated leadoff hitter Drew Becker with a base hit. Just like that, 1-0 Vikings. The rest of the day belonged to the Warriors as they scored 13 runs in an abbreviated 5-inning game. Catcher Nate Stevens led the way with 3 hits and 5 RBIs. Seniors Drew Becker and Zach Olson had solid games and were selected as our players of the game. Holmen ends the year 15-8 with a lot of excitement, a full roster of underclassmen for Mark Wall and the Vikings. Final score from Middleton, Waunakee 13 and our Holmen Vikings 2. Well, that ends our baseball coverage for this season. Stay tuned as both high school and college football ahead beginning in late August. A program reminder, don't forget about Knights of Thunder Racing every Thursday and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Well, that's it for this week. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you will have an active and a healthy week.